So I was surfing the World Wide Web on YouTube recently, and I came across a video. Real World Police will link their channel, of course. They do, I don't know if they're affiliated with police or not, but they do a lot of police videos of interesting catches, some DUIs, some, people really acting up, and a lot of like street stuff. Like you pull up to the car and you do this, and they're really entertaining. I think they might be based out of Arkansas because a lot, not all of them, but a lot of their videos are from Arkansas. And one of their most really popular ones caught my eye. It was back in 2020, back in April 2020. Justin Battlefield was driving a car. They were going to pull him over at a traffic stop. I don't exactly remember why. And he just kept going. Eventually, he's going for 20 minutes and he just keeps going. And we're going to leave the link or how to access, this video above. But what happened is he kept running and he was running for 20 minutes from the cops, and they did a pit. A pit is a precision immobilization technique that cops obviously do, if you're not familiar, to stop a car. It gets them to turn. You hit the car from the side, it gets them to turn, which obviously they can't speed up, so they stop. Now this one, as if you saw the video you clicked on, this one was a little different because number one, you're supposed to do it at 30 miles an hour or less. This was done at 109 miles an hour, which is way above. And I don't know if that's actually a law, but it's a police standard, and they did not follow that standard. The chief, if you saw the video, said, all right, go up and go get him. And so he did. He went up and he got him. And unfortunately, Justin Battlefield did lose his life on that, but cop did not. But if you, again, with the video, you could see the cop car flying like that had to be like 20 feet in the air. Like, geez, like they got, you got the trooper telling him to go up and go get him. If I'm that trooper, I'm thinking about my life. Like his life could have been lost instead of Justin's, and it's sad that anyone's life was lost, but that's just
Right.
what happened. So Justin Battlefield, his mom and his family were especially not happy at this. His mom said they should have just let him go, take a picture of his license plate, and then they can, arrest him once he gets to his house. And there's definitely an argument to it. I'm going to explain my reason in a little bit, but just to play both sides, because that's what we do here at PWTB. That I definitely see that because there was a way that you could get him home. Like you could do, there's other methods, which I'll explain a little bit too. But there was other ways that Justin Battlefield could have got home without getting killed. But then there's the other side with the cop is, okay, well, if he hits someone going at 110 miles an hour, then they're dead. So there comes to the point where the cops are arguing that they have to put other people's lives before Justin's. And they gave him 20 minutes too. It's not like they just like 1 minute and all right, go pit him and go kill him. No, they gave him 20 minutes and he was still running. So I will get into the other methods of what they could have possibly done in a little bit. But Jake, what do you think was the right response in this?
Yeah, I mean, I understand why he did it, but as you mentioned earlier, 109 miles an hour is pretty ridiculous. As you mentioned earlier too, no one had to lose their life over this. There's obviously different methods to stop him. He was running for 20 minutes, so I definitely understand why the cop did it, but like, you don't have to make someone lose their life over this,
So you
over a
think they
traffic
should have let
stop.
him keep running?
I don't think they should have. I don't think they should have let him keep running. I think there's different tactics to stop him while
Okay,
he's
so
still
I
on
was
the
gonna wait
road.
on this, but here are the two tactics. Tire spikes was one. A cop is outside, they throw the spikes at the tires, and then they just stop. And number two is a net. I don't see how a net is really practical. Like, how are you gonna get the net above him? But the tire spikes is interesting, but it's also, okay, what if the guy just decides to run over the cop? I disagree with you a little bit then, because I think you have to prioritize the other person's life. Now, we should also
Yeah,
mention, it's worth noting, Justin Battlefield had a mental deficiency. It's also worth noting that, just being fair. But there comes a point where, I don't know, maybe we could get a guy, like maybe get a cop outside to wave a white surrender flag, right? So he at least knows he's coming. I could argue that. Like, I could argue, like, because he probably had no idea they were about to pit him, even though he was on the chase for 20 minutes. I give you that. They probably had no idea he was about to get pit. So that's a little unfair. But at the same time, they got to put other people's lives first. The cops' lives were in danger, other people's lives on the street. If you watch the whole 20-minute video, they're going so much faster. So it's tough. It's tough to create solutions like these. But really don't run for the cops. It's not worth it. You know, you could also argue maybe we got to make cops a little less scary for some people. That's fine, but you can't run from the cops like that for 20 minutes straight. They got to put other people's lives first. And I also am really happy that officer survived. Because I don't think that was a guarantee, especially if you see the way his car plopped up.
Yeah,
But I gotta disagree. I think they waited long enough. Again, maybe they could have got a guy out to say, you better surrender or we're going to pitch you instead of not giving them any notice. But I think and I say this it was unfortunately the right decision. I don't say it thinking like cheerfully that it was the right decision.
right. Yeah, and of course, no one had to lose their life over this. Like I say, I understand why he did it, but I think the tire tracks would have been a lot better of a method to do than obviously just, pit him. But like you were saying earlier as well, not like it was 1 minute in, it's been 20 minutes. So,
Yeah.
and then a net's
And
at the bottom of the car. They put a net I think they put a net like across the road, and the bottom of the car hits the net.
yeah, that would take a lot of planning though, because then you'd have to clear the highway of everybody. And
Right.
again, there's definitely ways. There's definitely ways. It's sad, but we gotta, in life, even with death, sometimes we gotta use it as an example of like, okay, guys, here's what you're not supposed to do. And unfortunately, and I say it unfortunately because he was probably a good guy. Justin was probably a good guy. But you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to run for 20 minutes. And
Yeah. The thing we
yeah.
have to take away from all of this is you're not running from the police. It's not worth it.
No. If they do harm to you after they get you, okay, then take it to court. But yeah, don't
So,
just don't,
yeah.
guys. Be smart. Be smart on the road.